The Corinthian church had written a letter unto Paul, and then Paul now is answering some of their concern and some of their questions. And I don't know specifically because I never got the letter, so I don't know what Paul got. Never wrote the letter, so I'm not going to preclude that. But I do know that in that 7th chapter, Paul answered some very important questions. And one of the questions he answered the question of whether or not you should marry at all, or whether or not you should remain single. And then he asked the question, if you are a saved woman and you marry an unsaved man, should you get rid of the man now that you saved and he ain't unsaved? Or if you got an unsaved, you a saved man, and you happen to be married to an unsaved woman, should you put that woman away because she's unsaved? And then what do you do if you're separated? If you're separated, then the Bible says you need to remain unmarried so you can get reconciled back to your husband. I mean, he deals with that. And then he deals with that. If you're single, should you remain single? Amen. If you're single, should you remain single? And then those people who are married, should you try to get to be single? I mean, he deals with all of these questions. And in the midst of all of that, he starts off first dealing with marriage. Okay, let's kind of break that down. There were 3 things about marriage that he dealt with in the 7th chapter that I thought was very interesting as he kind of dealt with marriage. So why did he deal with marriage first? He dealt with marriage first because marriage is the premier institution. It's the foundational institution. Okay? It's the first institution that God created. And what it means by the foundational institution is because all other institutions is going to be dependent on how well we do marriage. The reason why everything else is suffering because the foundations are not right. And when your foundation is not right, then whatever you build it on is not going to stand. You build this church on a bad foundation, eventually the building is going to start cracking, and it's just not going to hold up. Amen? We talked to men on yesterday in Charlotte, man. We was in Charlotte on yesterday. We were talking to the men. We wanted the men to understand that they were the foundation of human creation because they were created first. And everything that we created first, everything comes out of that is a result of what's happening with the foundation. So we got jacked up women, jacked up children, because they come out of a jacked up foundation. Amen. Amen. So you got to get the foundation right. Amen. So he starts off with marriage because it's the premier institution. And here's the 3 things he talks about. He says, this is the intention of marriage. It is good for a man not to touch a woman. Now watch this. When he used the word touch in the Greek, he's not talking about marriage in a sense. He's really talking about sex. So he's saying it's good for a man not to just have sex with a woman. Let me go a little deeper with you. Why Paul saying that this ain't good? Because in the Corinthian society, sex was a religion. Okay? There was a temple called Aphrodite. It was the temple of Aphrodite. The god of Aphrodite was sex. And so what people do, they would go to the temple, like y'all coming to the church, they would go to the temple, and all they would do at the temple is eat, drink, and have sex. They had 1,000 priestesses or preachers in the temple of Aphrodite. You can imagine how many people coming to that temple. They had 1,000 preachers in that temple. And each of these preachers were actually prostitutes. And so you would come as you give an offering here to get services. You give offerings, you can get services. Amen. You get my services, and you get the, you get the lights and the this, So what you had to do, you had to bring an offering in order to get the services of the priestesses. Oh my God, amen. And so Paul said, let me kind of deal with this and kind of address this, amen. Let me kind of address this, because the whole purpose of coming to the temple was to satisfy the needs of the body. So people would come, because that's why what Paul talked about in 1 Corinthians 6, and he was talking about sexuality. He said, meat's for the belly and belly for the meat. So they were saying, well, what's the problem? If we got these desires, if God put these desires in us, then we need to get them fulfilled. Okay, break it down. Like some of y'all say, I know this is uncomfortable to some of you, this is uncomfortable to some of you, because it ain't your issue no more. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to others of you because it is your issue. Okay? So here the problem is, like Chris said, everybody got their needs. That's how we put it, amen? You know, we got our needs. And so they had a church you could go to, a temple you could go to, and it was a religion with a God that would authenticate that my services are only to meet your physical needs. And that's why people, they flock to this temple. So Paul said, no. This is not what sexuality is really all about. And so Paul said, I need to correct that. I need to address that. Now let's go. Can we flip back to 1 Corinthians 6, 16 and 17? Here we go, 16, 17. Why in the world Paul making a big issue about sex? Because Paul said, what? Know you that which is joined to a harlot is one body? What does it mean by that? For two, he says, shall be what? One flesh. So what is he saying? He says sexuality actually bonds you spiritually with another person. Oh my God, amen. So when you have sex with someone, now you can become one with that other person because you have joined your body to their body, and now there's a spiritual union within your sexuality. That's what God meant when he said what? And the two shall become one flesh. He was really talking about the spirituality of the sexual relationship. So Paul said, because of that, oh my God, you're going to go and deal with these prostitutes in this temple and make yourself one with them? Oh my God, 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord, what? Is one spirit. But if you join your body, you become one with that individual. That's the only danger of fornication. Fornication is very dangerous. Why we have to premarital what? Abstinence. Because once you have sex with someone, you now become part of their body. Your body become a part of their body. And so now whoever marries you can't deal with you because you've been married too many times to too many other folk that you join your body with. Oh my God. You think you're marrying Mary, but guess what? You also got to deal with Bob and Joe and Jeff and, you know, and Johnny and all these other bodies that been united with your body, and those spirits are in you. So let's go back to 7:1. Let's go back to 7:1. We're going to execute this. We're going to break it down. Like I said, it's good for men not to touch a woman. Go to 7:2. Look at 7:2. Look what it says in verse 7:2. But nevertheless, to avoid fornication. Now what is fornication? Fornication is the Greek word, comes from porneia, P-O-R-N-E-I-A. What does it mean? It means unlawful sex. What it means unlawful sex, it means sex without love. See, whenever there is the law, the laws are there because there's an absence of love. So it's what? It's what? To avoid a situation that is not going to be an act of love, let every man have his what? And let every woman have a what? Okay, all right. So that is the intention. That is the intention. And for those of you that are fornicators, and I know the fornicators, I know we got a lot of fornicators in here. But those are the fornicators in here. That's how you can really, that's how the only way you can validate fornication is marriage. So when you're married, then you can validate fornication. But the Bible is saying to you, if you want to have the kind of sexuality that's going to fulfill the purpose of God, and only the purpose of God will bring the blessings of God, then guess what? Then you need to have your own husband. Then you need to have your own wife. Because that way you can invite the angels in, and that way you can get the Holy Ghost to help you, and that way God can lay hands on you. Because that's the way God prepared. Paul is saying here, you know, for all of us who didn't get this kind of teaching when we were a lot younger, how many of you wish you got it a lot younger? Or at least paying attention to it. I wish I had somebody, amen. But the idea in dealing with your children and raising your kids up, you got to teach two principles of sexuality. You got to teach premarital purity and postmarital fidelity. If there is premarital purity, then the chances are you get postmarital fidelity. Put it this way, if you're a hoe before you get married, you're going to be a bigger hoe after you get married. So now we understand the intention here. We understand the intention here. Now you want to get married the right way, because marriage has not only the intention is to get married. So the intention is to get married. The second thing you got to do is got to understand that with the intention there comes a provision. Now watch this. Sexuality was so out of rampant in that day that it actually became a religion. It even got more out of hand after Jesus. Because see, you got your earlier scholars like Jerome and earlier scholars like Vulgate. I mean, these were powerful brothers, man. But they had an issue with sexuality, because they said if the goal of every Christian is to be like Jesus, and since Jesus never had a sexual experience, then they believe that evidently to be like Jesus, you have to abstain sexually. And out of that kind of thinking came the celibacy of the priesthood. And when mothers would go ahead and castrate their children at birth, amen, to make sure that they didn't have a sexual experience so they could live on a holier level. Oh my God, amen. And then on top of that, you got the people who got married. The church actually regulated your sexual life, because on spiritual days, you could not have sex, because on those days, you're not in worship like Christ. Amen. So this is going to come when we get married right here. If you live back then, in Jerome and Vulgate and all those guys, then they would regulate your sexual life. So on Thursday, you couldn't have sex because Jesus marched through Jerusalem, and that was a holy day. And so husband and wife could not have sex with one another. On Friday, you couldn't have sex because Jesus was crucified, and so that was a holy time, and so you could not have sex on Friday. On Saturday, you couldn't have sex because Jesus, Mary was mourning over the death of Jesus, and so that was considered a holy time. On Sunday, you couldn't have sex because Jesus rose from the dead on Sunday, and so on Monday you couldn't have sex because you got to remember all the other dead saints who gave their life for the cause of Christ. So the only days that husband and wife could have sex were Tuesdays and Wednesdays. All of this teaching had to be corrected. It really had to be corrected. It was crazy. Amen. Then you got a group called the Quakers. Anybody ever heard of the Quakers? The Quakers believe in marriage, but they don't believe in sex. So when they get married, the husband lives on one side of the house, the wife lives on the other side of the house. They meet in the living room in the kitchen. And the only way they can perpetuate themselves is that they adopt children that nobody else wants. And that's how they perpetuate themselves. But they believe they're more holier like Christ if they abstain from sex. So this teaching was important to be able to put the church back in line with the idea of God and what God had in mind when he created sexuality. So buckle your seatbelt, because we're going to break it down a little more deeper for you. So now we understand the intention of marriage. Here's number 2, the provision of marriage. Go to verse number 3. Now let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. And you know, people always use this kind of statement that you ought to be able to give and expect nothing back in return. How many of you heard that before? You got to give, man. Jesus said give and expect nothing back in return. That works with every aspect of life except marriage. And you know why? You know why? You know why? You know why? It's more except marriage. See, if I give you $5, you don't have to give me nothing back. If I provided something from you, you don't have to provide nothing. Because it might not be your assignment. It might not be your assignment. So everybody you help, you can't expect them to help you. Amen? But when it comes to marriage, there's a different command. And it's a key word that you need to look at. The key word to look at, render. Now what does the word render in the Bible really mean? The word render in the Bible means to pay back. It means to return. It means to give back. So Paul is saying, when it comes to affection and sexuality, you have been ordered to return it. You have been ordered to give it back. You have been ordered to pay them back. So therefore, ain't no kissing you and you ain't kissing me. Because whatever affection that I show to you in a marriage relationship, you have been ordered to return it. You want to mess up a marriage? You want to mess it up? Let you give stuff and you give it too, don't return it. I wish I had somebody. If I buy something for your birthday, when my birthday comes, I'm looking for something. If I buy something for the anniversary, then guess what? I'm looking for something. Bump that Valentine's Day, you just give to me. Oh, no. If I buy you a box of chocolate, then buy me a box of chocolate. Buy me something. Because the Bible says when it comes to affection and displays of love, you have to return it back. The Bible says you gotta render it to the wife. You gotta render it to the husband, you gotta render it to the wife. Likewise, the wife got to do to the husband. Amen? It's gotta go both ways. Tell somebody, say it's gotta go both ways. Gotta go both ways. I mean, let's stop talking about I just gotta give it up. It's gotta go both ways. It's gotta go both ways. Amen? If I'm coming after you, you need to run after me. Amen? If I ask you out, you need to be asking me out sometime. I mean, if I initiate, you gotta initiate sometime. Whatever I'm doing to you, you got to give it back. The Bible says you have to render unto the wife due benevolence. Now watch this. What did it mean by due benevolence? What do you mean by due benevolence? Amen. I hope I'm not boring y'all this morning. But you know what due benevolence, anybody know what a benevolence is? You know what a benevolence is? Okay. A benevolence is a debt that I'm coming to you with because I can't pay it myself. And I'm coming into you because I expect you to pay it for me. Okay. A benevolence is something you give somebody for free. Okay, you give it to them freely, amen? People who come here for benevolence body because they got a light bill and they can't pay it. They got a cutoff notice. They're going to be in the dark in next week. Because if you can pay it, it ain't a benevolence. If you can get it from somewhere else, you need to come to the church. Well, why you going to come to the church if you can get it from your son? Then it ain't a benevolence. You come to benevolence because there's no other place for you to go. You got a debt that you cannot pay, and you're expecting the church to be able to pay your debt. So when it comes to affection and hugging and kissing and making love, guess what? Only Fonda can pay that. Because if you're a real man, the debt don't come up. And when the debt come up, somebody got to pay it. Real men, real women, the debt will come up. Because that comes with loving one another. Because you can't love one another and don't want to make love. You can't love one another and not be loving. You can't love one another and not be affectionate. But the question is that I can only get that from you because it's a debt I got that only you can pay. So God says, pay up. You have been ordered in a marital relationship to return it. You got to pay. It's your debt that you owe one another. Amen. So he talks about the intention of marriage. He talks about the provision of marriage. And people, couples always come to me and says, You know, my husband is cheating on me. Really? Okay. The question I want to ask is, it need a reason? I'm not concerned about the cheating, but I'm concerned about the source of the cheating. I'm not concerned about what created that ministry, why he had to go outside of something that you could provide. Have you been paying your debt? Have you been paying him back? Amen. So either there's a rendering problem or somebody didn't pay the bill. And so this is the thing that God is saying. This is provision. This is what the Bible says. I'm teaching you what the Bible is saying. This is what ought to be in marriage. Amen. Amen. Them lips are for them lips right there. Them lips for the devil lips right there. All the sugar you get, that's the sugar house right there. Get all that sugar. Pay up. Amen. Tell somebody, say, pay up. Pay up. You got to render. You got to render because it's the debt that you owe each other. Now here's the third thing he says about it. The third thing he talks about is submission. Go to 1 Corinthians 7:4. Now the wife has not power of her own body but the husband, and likewise the husband has not power of his own body but the wife. And what does it mean by that? It means power, it means authority. So what happened is he's simply saying, not only from a sexual standpoint, but he's also saying from a natural standpoint. What does it mean? It means that I'm in your life to meet your needs, and you're in my life to meet my needs. Because if needs are not being met, that ain't love. See, love is not working unless love meets needs. I wish I because guess what? I won't value you if you're not meeting my needs. I won't value what I need to meet. I can't relate to you if you're not going to meet my needs. Why do you think God created the woman out of the man? He created the woman out of the man so that the man would have a need. Because people don't relate to something they don't need. So the question is, are you really meeting a need in another person's life? And can that person depend on you to meet their needs? That's what the married life is all about. And Paul doesn't, he just puts it together, but he kind of outlines it and lays it out there. And he said, hey, this is what the married life is all about. So number one, are you meeting the intention of married life? And are you doing the provision for married life? And thirdly, he goes on deeper and said, now, are you submitting to one another in married life? So that your needs rank under his needs. And his needs rank under your needs. In other words, making sure you get what you want is more important than getting what I want. And then making sure you get what you want is more important than getting what I want. Because I want to make sure that all of your needs are met here. Amen? I say amen? Amen. If you're hungry and need something to eat, I'm getting that for you. There ain't no call your daddy. If you want to call your daddy, you should have stayed home with your daddy. If you need something, you bring that to me. Amen. If I can't get it for you, then guess what? We do without it right now. But I want to make sure that I'm meeting what? I'm meeting your needs. Let me just drop this on you right quick. I want you to understand something right quick, because here's the thing. This is the shocking statement. I've made it before, and I've had pastors look at me strange and look at me crazy. But I'm going to tell you, I'm really concerned about the state of marriage. If God accepts what we call marriage, then evidently God is a failure. Really. Listen, how we can attest the fact. We're in church, and all of us are spiritual. We call ourselves love the Lord. Don't we love the Lord? We call ourselves love with the Lord. And God created marriage. Marriage is the premier institution. Then why is it faithful? And ain't we telling folk that God can do everything but fail? I said, ain't we telling folk that God can do everything but fail? Then tell me then why the 65% of marriages are failing in this country. Tell me why that 90% of the people who are married in this country are either married to the wrong person or you are the wrong person. Tell me why that 86% of the people in this country are not happy. Tell me why that 89% of the people in this country have one disease, is boredom. They're bored with one another. You tell me why. turn around and say, look, y'all don't understand how this thing works. 1 Psalm 127 and 1. Okay. He says, except, just like the Lord built the first house in Eden, he only blessing houses he builds. Oh my God. He was the first home builder. Satan was the first home wrecker. But so God says, hey, I'm only gonna bless what I build. I'll build this. I said, he said, now if I don't build it, guess what? You can work at it all you want to. You can go to 15 counselors. You can read 5 love languages. You can read 37 ways to make a woman act right. 66 ways to put a man back in line. 100 ways to date each other. 100 ways to do this. Read all that. Men up from Venus, women up from Mars. Do all that kind of stuff you want to read. But God says, if I don't build it, whatever you labor at, it's going to come up to nothing. It's going to come up to nothing. We don't get it. We just don't get it. We're just going to get it. Matthew 19:6. But the Bible said, hey, when you get married, you're no more than two, you're one flesh. Now, here, what therefore has God joined together? The word join means build. Join means putting blocks together in a building. So God said, if God is building this, amen, he said no man will be able to separate this. The word put asunder, that there be no separation. Okay. Can I go a little deeper with you? Ephesians 5:18, the Bible said, be not drunk with wine, but be filled with the Holy Spirit. Paul is saying, hey, the only way God's going to build it is that you got to be controlled by God in the relationship. He never gives directions about marriage in 5 until he goes to 5:18. You cannot start at 5:22. You can't start from 5:22 to 5:33. Why? Because you can't get that till you get this. You got to be controlled by the Holy Ghost. You know why? Because marriage is not about you. Marriage is an illustration that God has allowed to be on earth to show the world how Christ is related to the church. That's why you can tell a husband that you need to love your wife like Christ loves the church, and tell the woman, submit to your husband like the church is subject to Christ. Now let me ask you a question here. How in the world can you be like Christ without Christ? You can't be like Christ without Christ. Dr. Phil can't teach you how to be like Christ. Amen. I don't care what kind of book you read, it'll never teach you how to be like Christ. Because God said, I ain't gonna build it unless I'm in it. So here's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Most folk in here today, I contend, are not married. Most of you are cohabitators with a license. And the reason why I say that, because your marriage is not something that God has built. I mean, really, can you look at your union and you can tell everybody this is what the Lord built? Really? I mean, you look at your relationship and say, hey, you want to see what Christ looks like? Here it is right here. You want to see what the church looks like? Here it is right here. Oh my God. And here's the thing about most people. Most people govern their married life, amen, by a marriage license. They have actually put the legal requirement of man more important than the spirituality of God. And I keep telling this about every day. I try to get people to understand that marriage license don't make you married. It's never designed to do that. Nobody gets a marriage license. By the time you get your license, the state said you married. No, you don't. You bring the marriage license to the preacher. And the preacher got to sign the license to let the state know that a marriage took place and who did it. And then the state records what the preacher Elijah said. Marriage license don't make you married. Marriage license give you legal rights of married folk. It's a legal thing, not a spiritual thing. That's why you ain't got to be spiritual to get one. You ain't got to know Jesus to get a marriage life. Ain't got to do with the Lord. Ain't got to do with the church. It ain't got to do with Christ. It ain't got to do with the church. It ain't nothing to do with that. Let me tell you something. A marriage license will no longer make you married. The church membership will make you a Christian. You gonna tell me, you're gonna tell me I'm going to heaven because I joined Brady Young Zion in 1923. I joined Brady Young Zion in 1923. And you really think that God's gonna look at our rolls of our computer just because you got a membership certificate? I mean, I got a new membership certificate, and then I got also, Lord, I got a baptism certificate. You mean to tell me you really think that God is going to look at that and validate who you really are? So why do you think that he's looking at a marriage license issued by the state for the purpose of the state that has nothing to do with him, and that's going to validate you cohabitating and sleeping with one another and shacking up with one another? Are you kidding? The reason why the relationships are not working, because God's not building them, and they're not building them, they would not work. And all you're doing is pacifying your egos. That's all we're doing. Remember, God, been married 50 years, and the guy asked him, how many happily married people in here? And he raised his hand, man, I'm happily married. I've been happily married 50 years. And he said, man, we just cannot believe everybody's miserable in their relationship. And why are you so happily married in your relationship? He said, man, 35 years ago, I went to the Holy Land. Took my wife to the Holy Land. Turned our whole marriage relationship around. It really did, man. He said, the last 35 years, it's been the best marriage that I've ever had. I've never been happier. And the guy said, the Holy Man did that? He said, the Holy Man turned this thing all around with me. And you know what? And next week, I'm going back to get her. And you read all of these horror stories. All of these horror stories. Let me ask you a question. How many really happy people you really know? How many really happy married folk you really know? Name me 10. Two. It's amazing, man. It's just amazing, man. I ain't picking at nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Come on, this people. We say, you know, we've been together 47 years. 47 years with who? You been with, and y'all been with the Lord 47 years? Or y'all just been cohabitating for 47 years? But you can't call it marriage. God doesn't build it. You can't call it marriage. You know what a married life is? What a married life is, it's two people who have a relationship first with God, because God started off with single people. Adam was single, he had a relationship with God. When God took Eve, and Eve had a relationship with God, and then God brought them two together again, and they brought their relationship with God to one another. That's marriage. Marriage is me bringing my relationship to God to you, you bringing your relationship to God with me, and then God can give me what he got for you, and God can give you what you got for me, and then all of us come more in love with God because of the ministry we give to one another about God. And that's what makes marriage just a holy institution. It's a holy institution because guess what? It's a holy institution because you bring me holiness. And wherever holiness, you automatically got happiness, because happiness is the benefit of holiness. The reason why people are not happy because they're not holy. People cannot be happy if they're not holy. So when you bring me holiness, you bring me happiness. Because what you bring in me comes directly from God. And if you bring me the right things from God, then guess what? I get the right things from you. Because everything I really need don't come from you, it comes through you. Because everything I really need comes from Him. My sufficiency comes from Christ, not from you. So I'm not looking for no woman to be my peace. And I'm not looking for a man to be my peace. I want you to bring me the Prince of Peace. This is what marriage is all about. This is what I'm praying for. I'm praying for that for you too. I'm praying that you bring the right ministry to one another. Stop buying books on 55 ways to be a wife and 66 ways to please me. What you need to buy a book on is how do you walk with God and how do you live holy with the Lord. And yeah, listen, let me buy a book on your prayer life. Let me buy a book on your devotional life. Let me buy a book on you walking with God. Because anybody know how to walk with God, know how to walk with you. Anybody know how to love God will know how to love you. Anybody know how to be faithful to God will know how to be faithful to you. You cannot expect anybody to be something to you that they're not to Him. And if you really love the Lord, I say if you really love the Lord, you ought to ask yourself, what did God send me today? The morning you wake up, somebody, what did the Lord bring to me today? I know you've been with Him. What's your ministry to me? That's the married life, man. That's the married life. I said the married life versus the single life. Let's go to the single people right quick. We're going to leave this alone because married folk get uncomfortable. Let's go to the single. The question is, man, it's not getting married. The question is finding the right person who want to get married the right way and who want to be married the right way. Because God said, if y'all walk together with me, He said, I'll grace your life. I'll grace your life. I give you more house than you would ever thought you had. I give you more than you ever thought you could do. I give you more love than you can give each other. I'll blow your life away. You know what I'll do? I'll take you and elevate you and make you two sit in heavenly places while everybody dealing with earthly hell. I will elevate you above all of that. Oh my God. Then Christ said we are seated in what? And ain't nothing wrong with heaven now. See, the problem is you stay earthbound too long. Y'all just still on earth. It's hell down here. But if you can take a flight and go a little higher, you can go above the hell that's going on in your life. Go above the hell that's going on in your relationship. That's what God is looking for. That's what married folk ought to pray for. That's what God has some desire. Amen. Now what do you mean by versus the single life? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. He did the single. And go to 7:7. Let's go to 7:7. Let's get out of this. Amen. He said, I would that all men would, even as I myself, but every man had his own proper gift. One after this man and another after that man, I guess. 8 verse 8. I said for good, therefore, to the unmarried and to the widows, it is good for them if they can stay that way. The word about means stay there. The second time he said that being single is good. In other words, if you're a single person, you live in the good life. And Pastor, what do you mean the second time he said it was good? He said it in 7:1. 1 Corinthians 7:1. Flip back to 7:1. Let's go back to 7:1. Amen. Go back to 1 Corinthians. Now concerning the things that the world do, it is good for a man not to have sex with a woman. Then he turned right around and verse 8 and said it is good if you can stay single. That's right. Wow. It's a good life. You know, when the Bible means good, it means it's a more godly life. It's a more godly life if you can remain single. You know why? Go to 32. 1 Corinthians 7:32. Because he that is unmarried will care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. When you're unmarried and you're single, then you're not distracted. Amen. Because the only person you gotta please is the Lord. That means you can go home when you want to go home. You can stay out when you want to stay out. Amen. You ain't got to answer to nobody. Amen. You ain't got to be trying to get along with another personality. Because let me tell you something. When you're single, some of the single people will tell you, you're living a good life, because what's worse than being single is being married to the wrong person. Being married to the wrong person is worse than being single. Being single and married is hell. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Paul said, man, if you can stay single, man, you're all right. You're all right, because that's how we're going to live in heaven. We're going to live single in heaven. There ain't going to be no marriage in heaven. You know why? Because guess what? Everybody will have glorified bodies. That means everybody is complete within itself. So you don't need marriage in heaven. Why? Because man won't need a helper, woman won't need a protector. And since we don't need children up there, we not going to reproduce, we don't need no marriage. So therefore, once your husband dies, you're single again. Once your wife dies, you're single again. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You're single again. So he said, man, it's good. It's a good life. It's a good life. If you can, it's a good life. Yes, it is. It's a good life, man. It's a good life. See, man, I just go everywhere you want to go and not worry about some, oh my God, why are you out this late? I'm single. You ain't going home tonight? You got to. And then when you go home, you know what you're going home to. Amen. So when you're by yourself, you kind of work with that. But when you got somebody with you, making you miserable. I wish I had some folk. If I had some divorced people in the house, you can testify. Amen. You can just testify. Amen. Because you can do bad by yourself. You don't need nobody with you making you make bad. You can be miserable by yourself. You can be alone by yourself. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So here's the thing, number one is good. Number two, let's go back to 7-7. Go back to 7-7. 7-7. But you got to make sure you got to give. So number one, it's a good life, but it's a gifted life. Because you got to make sure you got your proper gift. One after this manner and one after that manner. Now what do you mean by that? If you got an urge to murder, you got a sexuality, you need a husband. Amen? But if you've been gifted of the gift of celibacy, then don't get married to nobody. Because you're finna make somebody miserable. If you don't like kissing and hugging, and I can't stand all this affection and touchy feeling, honey, you need to be by yourself. You are a candidate for a twin bed. You don't need no king-size bed in your house. Amen. You got to be qualified to be a single. The Bible makes it perfectly clear. Jesus said you got to be qualified to be a single. There are 3 qualifications of being single. Go to Matthew 19. Go to Matthew 19. Let's go to verse number 10. His disciples said unto him, when Jesus was talking about how difficult to get out of marriage, they say, if that's the case, be so. A wife, man, it ain't good to marry nobody. And then look what Jesus said in verse number 11. But he said unto them, all men cannot receive this. Amen. I mean, this thing got to be given to you. Man, you can't receive that. Our sex drive was given to us. Ain't nobody fill out no application or, went to classes. Amen. I mean, one moment we couldn't stay in girls. One moment it didn't bother us. And one moment, then all of a sudden, one summer, it got hot. Little girls had little short dresses on. They're sitting all kind of ways. Nobody paid that no attention. We in the bathtub with them. They taking the bath. We bathe them. You bathe the little boys, little girls together. And all of a sudden, trying to look under the dress, and puberty set in, everything changed. So you can't be single unless singleness has been given unto you. That's what the Bible is saying. So how do I know it's given unto me? Let's go to verse 12. For there are some eunuchs. What's a eunuch? A eunuch is a castrated male. And men ought to know, man, if you're castrated. Amen. I mean, we just gonna read tonight. Ain't nothing gonna happen if you castrated. I wish I had some medical people here. It means you don't have a sexual drive. That's all. It means you don't have a sexual drive. So some people don't have sex drive. They've been born from their mother's womb. Now people say, well, that's where homosexuality comes from. No, it's not. Because when you are a eunuch, you just don't have a sex drive, period. Homosexuality, you have a sex drive for the same sex. So you're not born homosexual, you're born a eunuch. And a eunuch simply means I have no sex drive of any type, in any kind of way. And some people have been gifted by God to be born that way. Don't call them sisters, because they're not. They've just been born that way. And they've been born that way. Why? For the kingdom of God. And what that means simply is that whatever Jesus has decided that they need to do in life for him, a marriage would not make that possible. There's no way in the world Jesus could be married and he ain't got no house. Who would be a candidate for marriage when you talk about foxes got holes and birds got nests and the son of man ain't got nowhere to lay his head? Well, you're not a candidate for no marriage. And so this is the thing that Jesus is saying here. And there are some eunuchs which are made eunuchs of men. In other words, they were the women who castrated their babies at birth. And there was the men, Brother Darren, if you wanted to work in a harem. Solomon had 1,000 wives and 700 wives and 300 concubines. Somebody got to guard these women to make sure that a strange rooster don't get up in there. And so what they would do, in order for you to get that kind of job, they would castrate you to make sure you ain't the one that's up there. Or if you wanted to not work in the fields, Jeff, you said, man, I don't want to work in the field, I want to work in the house. Well, they don't let these men around their wives like that until they castrated them. That's how you became qualified to be a butler or to be a houseboy or someone that worked around the house. That's why when you read the story of when they went to Jerusalem and they marched all of these choice people from Jerusalem into Babylon, and they took some of the choice boys and they brought them in and they brought them into the palace. The first thing they did was castrate them. That's why you never hear of Daniel being married. You never hear about Daniel having a wife because he was castrated. That's what it means by eunuchs being made of men. And there be some eunuchs who made themselves eunuchs. And what does it mean by that? These are people who get to a certain stage in their life that that kind of thing no longer is important to them. And so they have decided to donate and give their lives. All of this is for the kingdom of heaven's sake. And he that is able to receive it. Then the Bible said what? let him receive it. Everybody can't do that. Because everybody don't have that kind of gift. So if it's not given to you, you can't walk around and tell everybody, I ain't gonna ever get married. What? So what are you gonna do, fornicate all your life?
Wow, that's
If it hasn't been given to you, you can't have it. Let's go to Matthew 7:20, 24. Get ready to wrap it up, y'all. Excuse me. Go back to 1 Corinthians 7:20. I'm sorry. You know what the Bible said? Let every man stay in the same calling wherein he was called. Stay in your calling. If your husband dies and your wife dies, you pray for another husband or another wife. Why? If you still frisky. I'm just trying to be straight. Amen. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. You know, I'm telling you right now. You know, you got to understand the calling that God has called you to. I understand my calling. A single life is not my calling. Because I have not been given that gift. And I'm 100% full-fledged heterosexual. But now when you talk about this calling, you got to kind of distinguish what your calling is too. Amen. I mean, I like women. Amen. In the beginning, God created them, male and female. I like that setup. I've been blessed by that a long time. And I ask the Lord, keep on blessing. Over and over. Matthew 7:20, go to 7:24. Go to 7:24. Amen. Brother, let every man wherein he is called, therein stay with God. Stay with the gift that God gave you. Stop worrying these people who are not married. When you gonna get married? When you gonna get married? When you gonna get married? You don't know what they've been given. You don't know what they've been given. So you gotta just shut up, stay out their business, because they need to stay in the calling that God gave you. So don't try to push folk to the altar. They can come to me, and I know you got to be by yourself, but baby, there's a whole difference between being alone and lonely. Anybody know what I'm talking about, amen? You got to stay within the calling that God has placed upon your life. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to conclude with this on today, amen? So if you're called to be single, stay right there. If you're called to be married, then get yourself ready for God to cause your season to come. But you got to be willing to be spiritual. You want to do it the Lord's way. You want to make sure that you be the right minister. Now, my thing with me, man, is always, I want to make sure if I'm your friend, I want to bring the right ministry that God has given to me for you. So let me show you how to do that right quick, and I'm going to leave you alone. Amen. Anybody been blessed today? Anybody been blessed today? Number one, it starts with a commitment. You got to be committed. You got to be committed. And I still believe in my heart, man, that you got to build a friendship, because friendship is the foundation of love. You can't have real love without friendship. The worst thing, I'm going to tell you why. Because whenever you with a friend, you reveal things to your friend. It's a hard thing to be married to somebody who's not your friend. Because you never know my secrets, because I only tell my secrets to my friend. You'd be surprised at how many people who are married to one another and don't even know one another. That somebody else knows your stuff about you more than your spouse. Because the person you married to is not your friend. It is not your friend. And man, I don't want to be in a relationship with nobody that I can't call you my friend. You're my friend. You're my comforter. You're my ride or die. Back in our day, you might ace boom cool. Amen. But to be my friend. But see, you gotta earn a friendship. You just can't, that's just not automatic, but you gotta work on a friendship. You gotta work on a friendship. And I just tell you again, I'm gonna keep telling you until you get it. In order to be somebody's friend, you gotta prove a commitment. And what is the commitment you gotta prove? Number one, I need to be convinced that you are committed to making me happy. The purpose why I want to get the right things from God is because I want you to be happy. I don't want a testimony that you're miserable with me. I don't want a testimony, man, that says, man, I tell you what, I hate to see you come. I don't want a testimony where you laughing and talking to everybody else and your countenance changed when I walk in the door. See, I need to know that you're going to be committed to making me happy. Why? Because if you ain't happy, then the relationship's not working. See, it's not working if you're not happy. Happiness is the evidence that the relationship is working. Did you get that? And if you got somebody who don't care whether you're happy or not, then now you question whether or not they're committed to you. When you see me crying and all upset and all the time, you ain't saying nothing. Evidently, whatever you here for it by yourself. So here's the thing with most people, man, there's no commitment. There's no commitment. Number one, you got to be committed to happiness. Number two, you got to be committed to my health. I got to know emotionally I'm better because I'm with you. I got to know you bring me emotional peace. I got to know that I enjoy being with you. Because it ain't help to be with somebody you don't enjoy. It ain't help to be with someone that don't bring you peace. It ain't help to be with someone your head hurt all the time. Anybody, it ain't help to be with someone that got you on blood pressure pills. It ain't help to be with someone that got you on Xanax and what another one, Prozac, that's it. And then some of y'all Prozac takers, y'all know what I'm talking about. The Prozac and the Xanax. Man, I want nobody in my life like that. You want nobody in your life you scared to go home. And so here's the thing, man, I want to know, are you good for my health? And then I need to know, are you good for my holiness? See, the commitment has to be there. See? And when you're not committed to the Lord, it's going to really be confusing, because what happened is, if you got one person committed to the Lord and the other person not committed to the Lord, then the person that's not committed to the Lord is going to frustrate the other person who is committed to the Lord, and this becomes an issue. If you got a woman who wants to be submissive, but she got a husband that's not submissive to God, so therefore she cannot really follow him because she don't see the God that's coming through him. So she's trying to be submissive to God, but he's not bringing her God, and because he's not bringing her God, she's struggling with what she's submissive to. And so what happened, her spiritual responsibilities get all out of the way. And if you got a man who's trying to be Christ, but got a woman who will not be submissive to him, that she chooses to be independent of him, now she becomes a frustration man. A married man gets frustrated with an independent woman. And now you just want to be independent. You don't want to follow me. You don't want to work with me. You don't want to do anything. You become independent. Now you're going to disconnect me from God. Why? Because I find it strange to try to bring an agenda from God to you when you're not willing to follow the agenda that God gives me. And so because I'm trying to show you God, but you're not responding to God, now I'm no longer calling on God, because calling on God is a waste of time, because you're not going to follow whatever God comes up with. And so now God is completely out the house, and there's nothing but hell in the house. And what we're doing now, we're going to forever be miserable and blame each other and make each other the biggest victim. Because there's a commitment problem. You know what I want from you? You know what I really want from you? I want the best of God. That's what I need. You know what the best help that a woman can be to a man? Help him to be holy. Help him to be a holy man. want the best from God. It's a commitment problem. Number two is concern. What is the concern? The concern is I want to know what you need, baby, and why. I want to keep evaluating to make sure that I'm meeting needs. Because as you get older, needs change. Don't ever think you really know me if you don't talk to me, because there's things about me you won't know unless you talk. There's things about, see that beautiful woman you married to, Carl? There are things about her you'll never know till you ask her. Don't think you can figure her out. I have a problem with doing that. Why do I need to figure you out when I can just ask you? Amen. I got to try to figure how you feeling. I got to try to figure out, do you need this? I mean, I ain't got time to do all that. I'm right here. Tell me what it is. If I miss it, then you tell me. If I fall short, then you let me know. If it's something else I'm doing, then you let me know. See, you used to wear this kind of dress. Now you done read Vogue or whatever, and now you decided you don't want to wear that kind of dress no more. Then don't let me keep buying stuff you ain't gonna wear. Then all you have to do is tell me your taste done changed. Amen. You used to like comedies, now you come out, I don't like them kind of movies no more. Amen. You done grew up some kind of way. So now let me know what you like. Because life and relationship are filled with swift transitions. Amen. You got to always be making a transition in a relationship. Age will cause a transition. You get older, man, your needs change. I wish I had some real folk. Everybody know what I'm talking about? All the stuff I used to need, I don't need that no more. You got to understand. You got to always be a concern. I encourage couples always, do an evaluation in the relationship, and say, now baby, am I meeting your needs? If there's a need that I ain't getting, instead of being mad because they ain't figured it out. Third thing, commitment, concern, consistency. Whatever you do, make sure you're consistent. Whatever you do, make it a habit. When you make it a habit, why? Because consistency builds trust. And there can never be a return of love without trust. So therefore, if you want me to give love back to you, I have to trust the love you've given me. And I'm not going to trust it if you're not consistent. And there be a lot of people who are in relationships and man, I ain't put my feelings out there to somebody I don't trust. I don't trust that you're going to return it. I don't trust what you've given me. You're consistent, but in the wrong things. So if you find something good in the relationship, keep it up. Keep it up. There ought to be something in that relationship that I can trust about you. Amen? And it can be something very little, man. Be very little. I can trust one thing. He's going to get up every morning and make sure my car is cranked up. He's going to get up every morning. She's going to get up every morning to make sure I have breakfast before I go anywhere. I mean, something ought to be something consistent. There's something consistent. She's going to lay my clothes out every day. Every day I go with her, she's going to lay my clothes out every day. You know what? She's going to give me a good kiss before I leave home. And she's going to make sure I get a good kiss when I walk back in the door. I mean, there ought to be something that's consistent about you. There ought to be something I know I can trust. Last thing is I'll leave you on tonight. Let me have a caring ministry when it comes to this relationship. What I mean, let me always demonstrate to you that I care about you. Because see, here's the thing. The reason why you need to meet the kind of needs, because the Bible tells a man he needs to love his wife, he needs to love his wife, and love ought to be a sacrifice. Now, why? But if you don't pay affection back, then you devalue yourself, and it makes the sacrifice less. It's hard to sacrifice for something that's not valuable. Nobody is going to sacrifice $50,000 for a car with no engine. Would you do it, Red? I got a nice car, but just ain't got no engine in it. I'm going to sell $50,000 for it. No. You need to drop the value of that. So in order for a man to be able to sacrifice at the level that God tells him to sacrifice, a woman has to provide a ministry to show him she's worth that. Because it's hard for you to sacrifice for something that has no value. God, you mean to tell me I got to give my life for this? Really? And so if I want to know how to meet your needs, because I want to know that I'm worth the sacrifice. I am worth the sacrifice. And I want to be able to bless your life, that whatever you give to me, I'm going to prove to you I'm worth that sacrifice. Because I have proven myself to be valuable to you. And that's what a carrot ministry is all about, because once I learn stuff you like, I just keep doing it. I learn stuff you like, because I like to see you smile than to see you miserable. I like to be the one to put a smile on your face every morning. In fact, I'm going to make sure ain't nobody going to beat me doing that. I like to be the one that you close your eyes and the last thing you think about. You close your eyes and the last thing you think about and the first thing you're going to get in the morning. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? Because I'm going to show you, honey. I'm going to show you what you're going to miss when you miss this. Now you think you can get happy. Well, you can go around talking about can't nobody do me like Jesus, and can't nobody do me like the Lord. Then Barry ought to be looking at Jackie and saying, Jackie, can't nobody not do you like Barry. Wish I had somebody, amen. Does any brother or woman be able to say that about you? And he said, no, baby, I can't let you go because you're too valuable. You know, I can't see myself with nobody else because, baby, you're just too valuable. I can't see myself walking away because you're just too valuable. I hit gold when I got you. You are pearl, but you ain't no paste. Baby, you are the real deal, and now that I got you, oh, my God, my life has not been the same. Because anybody get touched by an angel or get touched by the Lord, can't nobody do it. The only people that don't get it is because they never had it. The Bible says, if you taste and see, you'll find out that the Lord is good. And all you need is just a taste of it. Once you get an appetite, you get to the point that nothing else is going to do you. Baby, this thing is better. It's better than chocolate cake. It's better than brownies with nuts in it. It's better than red velvet cake. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody want that kind of ministry in your life? Anybody want that kind of testimony in your life? And whether you're married or whether you're single, if you're single, somebody waiting on their blessing. Somebody waiting on their anointing. Somebody waiting on God to go ahead and shower them their best. And you ought to be able to say that not only Jesus is the best thing that ever happened to me, but baby, I thank God for you because you are the best thing that ever happened to me. Anybody here today want that kind of testimony? Want that kind of gift in your life? Want that kind of ministry in your life? It starts with your relationship with Jesus. And when you know Jesus Christ, when anybody gets Jesus, nothing else will be the same. Give God praise and glory. Give God worship in this place. Give God the honor in this place. If you're single, they'll see Jesus. When they get married, they'll see Jesus. The married life versus the single life. What's your calling? This stays in your calling. Hallelujah to that. I said hallelujah to that. I said hallelujah to that. Jesus is in me, and the Jesus is in you. And at the end of the day, when the two Jesuses get together, There ought to be a testimony